This is Channel 5 News in the headlines. Family of murder victim Joshua Etienne says the justice system is failing them as murder charges against another officer are dismissed. Employers Federation wants more focus on economic prospects of Sunday as a legal working day, and another union leader publicly supports the elusive Trade Union Congress. I am Idona John Baptist with the Channel 5 News. Details coming up. First up, the family of Joshua Etienne say they feel the justice system is letting them down as another police officer accused in connection with the death of Joshua Etienne was freed on Tuesday.
The court ruled that the prosecution failed to bring a prima facie case against Corporal Gemma Lewis and therefore dismissed the matter against her. Lewis was among 5 police officers arrested and charged for the August 2014 murder of Joshua Etienne. Witness Oscar George recanted his testimony of what he had seen the morning of the incident, claiming he had lied. Etienne's sister Maria Pascal says she received the news of police officer Gemma Lewis being freed from a friend and got confirmation on an online news publication.
Going on 3 years and nothing has been happening, and I have to confirm on DNO that Gemma Lewis is a free woman. It's not something you can get closure. Just it is very, very difficult. It is very difficult. Like I always tell my family members, if it was just one blow or a gunshot or something, you would actually feel sorry for the officers. But to beat him that badly, and somebody can just come and say they lied, a witness come and say, oh, I lied, and nothing is done.
Pascal says she's also displeased with the lack of information whenever the matter is to be heard at court, even after providing all her contact information to the DPP's office.
The worst part of that is the family is never informed of court, and I think that is my biggest issue. Maybe India would not change the judges or the magistrate decision, but at least I'm informed. Because it looks like, we're just not interested. But we cannot be there when we don't have the information. And I mean, it is just really sad how the legal system works. Because it's a state case, the DPP office is their responsibility to inform us. Whenever there is court, all the members of the family of the defense, on the defense side, is present. And we always find out about court by accident. Somebody would call and say, why are you not at Portsmouth? Why are you not there? Because we are not informed. He wasn't an animal. He had family members. It is already difficult that you lose a family member in that way. And for persons to just not inform, I guess Joshua Etienne was a nobody.
Pascal has complained about the delay in the trial of her brother's death, which she says is not reassuring.
August 2014, in April 2017, 5 persons were charged. 3 are free. So to be. And based on what I'm reading, the case is weakened.
Etienne was found dead in the police cells at the Portsmouth police station in August 2014, one day after he was arrested at Glanvilla for alleged possession of ammunition. An autopsy revealed serious injury, including several broken bones and a punctured organ.
In other major developments, the Dominica Employers Federation is calling for the authorities to consider the economic prospects of tourism if Sunday is made a legal working day. Executive Director of the DEF, Achille Joseph, says the organization has the backing of the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce in calling for Sunday to be a regular day of work and not a public holiday as legislated.
As we've said in the past, prior to 1990, Sunday was a normal working day in Dominica, and that is not too long ago, prior to May 1990 to be exact. And that was amended by an Act 12 of 1990. That was in the days of Eugenia Childs. With Sunday on the statute book as a public holiday, one, it means that an employee can say, I'm not coming to work. And if you're in the tourist business or in the hotel business, restaurant, and your employees choose not to turn up on a Sunday, there's nothing you can do about it because it is a public holiday. There shouldn't be a particular law saying Sunday off where you shut the country down. Because essentially a guy who has a hotel, what does he do on Saturday night? Do he put all his guests on the road and pick them up on Monday morning because Sunday is a public holiday, people are not supposed to work?
Joseph says they still await a response from government on a flexible working arrangement proposal submitted 2 years ago.
The Dominica Employers Federation, we have presented a holistic series of amendments to our legislation in Dominica that all touch on the Sunday issue or the time of opening up of business. And we call it the flexible working arrangement in Dominica. And we submitted it to the Prime Minister, the Minister for Labour, we sent it to the CAPSEC, the PM's office, the Minister for Tourism. We are saying that every Sunday being a public holiday does create some challenges for us, especially if we want to grow Dominica as a cruise destination. Alternatively, and as a secondary position, that act makes provision for the President of the state to exempt certain industries and sectors from the application of that law. We have also suggested that certain sectors of the economy can be exempted from the application of the Public Holidays Act.
Joseph clarified that people should also be entitled to a day of worship and no one will earn less money if that law is changed. A recently launched non-governmental organization is developing a more creative forum in which to tackle incidents of gender-based violence in society. Leve Dominic, an awareness campaign, was launched in November last year to raise greater awareness of abuse in Dominica and to help reduce those numbers. Coordinator of Leve Dominic says a boys' club is among the campaign's plans to help combat gender-based violence in the country.
We are all involved in social media campaigning, but we have moved that across to be a grassroots movement where we engage survivors in activities as it relates to their own personal development. We're also involved and we'll be spreading the movement to include young boys and girls. So we are forming a young boys club to look at socialization, how we socialize and how we raise our young boys to be more respectful of young girls and women. We are also looking at doing a pilot program in a secondary school across Dominica, and we will be partnering with Crime Stoppers to put on an initiative for raising funds to go towards women who have and men who have been abused and who are survivors of gender-based violence.
Williams says in the institution's 5 months existence, they have received overwhelming support from the public to carry out its mandate.
Well, we've received tremendous support from our social partners, the Bureau of Gender Affairs, the Dominican National Council of Women, and a number of other social agencies, the NGO Coalition, and also from the corporate sponsors across Dominica. It is really enlightening and encouraging that a lot of these organizations have come on board, not because we've requested, but because they've seen the need to support initiatives like this. Gender-based violence is an issue that touches everyone, whether or not you're a man or woman, whether or not you're in a single parent family or compound family. So really and truly every Dominican should be concerned about these issues, and we are glad that we are able to be that umbrella organization in Dominica to move the process forward.
Yet another group of Dominicans, this time from the south, is now better trained to help in times of disaster. This as a 3-week Community Emergency Response Training CERT program came to an end recently. In light of the climate change phenomenon and increased risk of natural disasters around the country, the disaster risk management consultant warned the most recent CERT trainees of the important role they play in helping mitigate the impact of natural disasters in their respective communities.
When emergencies happen, CERT members can give critical support to first responders, provide immediate assistance to victims, and organize spontaneous volunteers at a disaster site. So we want you to be diligent with your operations whenever something happens, and always be ready to come forward to assist your community until the professional first responders arrive.
Shillingford also advised participants that their role in ensuring a safe community goes above and beyond times of natural disasters.
CERT members can also help with non-emergency projects that help improve the safety of the community. In times of non-emergency or non-emergency situations, you can also help your community or your various communities in executing small projects. We have quite a few counselors, village counselors on board, to make your community safe. All right, so those drains that are blocked, areas that may be landslide prone, and some of these things, highways where people drive too fast, we may have to start looking at speed bumps and things of that nature to ensure that the community is safe.
You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, expectations for this year's NYC General Congress. That and more when we return. Thanks for staying with us. Head of the Dominica Association of Teachers, Celia Nicholas, is throwing her support behind the establishment of a trade union congress in Dominica.
The formation of a trade union congress had been a topical issue for debate for several years now. However, Nicholas says that in order for such an entity to succeed, there must first be a clear understanding among the unions which would collaborate to form this unit.
Personally, there's nothing wrong in having a trade union congress, but as I said in my piece in our magazine, you will see that each party in that congress needs to respect the other entity, and each none should, utter words or use strategies that would undermine the other. So it should not be a case that when we have a congress, that in public that there's disunity and bickering and unrest. This should be done in chambers. When we come out to the public, we are a united group. It has worked in other territories. Why can't it work in Dominica?
Nicholas made the comment against the backdrop of the DAT's AGM scheduled for Wednesday under the theme Trade Union Congress, Consolidating for Greater Effectiveness in the Future.
And we have Mr. Curtis Augustus. He's going to be the theme. He's going to speak to the theme because, he was the General Secretary of the Caribbean Trade Union Congress, and he's only local, so he is going to speak to that. And since we're hearing about Dominica so long has not been able to finally have a trade union congress, we have been part of the discussion from the inception, and we are continuing to be, and we are having him speak to that publicly. And of course, it's not the year for elections, it's next year, that's elections. So we'll be seeing to other issues of our union.
The 19th AGM of the DAT will take place at the St. Alphonsus Parish Hall in Goodwill from 8:30 a.m.
The National Youth Council of Dominica's 2017 General Congress is expected to be a leading agenda item when youth sector stakeholders meet for the second session of the organization's quarterly youth caucus.
The event carried for April 29 in Roseau expects to feature high-level discussions among youth sector stakeholders. The National Youth Policy Review process is also expected to be discussed, and positions expressed at the caucus are to be presented to policymakers.
At the forefront would be employment. I know also access to credit as it relates to the development of small business initiatives. Of course, to some degree, capacity, institutional strengthening. We looked at the different organs, for example, the partners, the stakeholders involved in the process of young people and their development. So the policy really speaks to a number of things as it relates to youth, and as such, some will of course bear more weight than others. The question of youth employment is something that is very at the forefront of the National Youth Council, and we continue to advocate on their behalf as it relates to that. Entrepreneurship and small business development also is at the forefront of those development initiatives, or the policy for that matter. And yeah, we will continue to do our best where that is concerned.
Youth Caucus delegates include the NYCD Executive Board, District Youth Council representatives, presidents of registered service clubs, student council representatives, and 4-H Dominica.
In other news, construction of a retaining wall to protect a recreational center in Pishle represents the start of what is required to reduce the vulnerability of that village to natural disasters.
Just last week, MP for the area Kenneth Daru gave the village council a check for $300,000 of CBI funds for construction of a retaining wall. But according to the village council chairman, the vulnerability of the community comes from the fact that it is surrounded by mountains and flanked by 2 rivers.
Pishle is the center of the entire community and constituency, and because of its vulnerability, should anything disastrous affect us, it would in fact affect the entire constituency.
The Office of Disaster Management and the Canadian government also have plans of building another river wall in the Pishle area. It is expected that the Canadians will fund this new wall. Meantime, the MP for the area has also highlighted the amount of money which the current administration has invested in the constituency since December last year.
$31,842 that would have been spent to do miscellaneous patching between Bagatelle and Geneva. Then we had a $90,131,000 spent to do some repair works in the Sene area. That's the extreme end of Bagatelle, just leaving Bagatelle. We are aware that we have some significant works to do there in terms of the river crossing, etc., but I will speak to that a bit later. Box culvert in Fosseja, $141,123. Stowe Main Road, the Stowe Community Road, we spent to date so far $101,000. We also did some miscellaneous patching on the Dubic Main Road, equivalent to $27,000. That would have been done through one of the Dubic Community Enhancement Group. We spent $262,029 on the Fab Main Road to redo or resurface the road completely from Fosseja all the way to Fab Reti, which is this little scenic village right on the top of Fosseja. And a further $275,000 doing washrooms to date. And as I said, most of these funds would have been in this calendar year from late December to, well, $928,279.15, almost a cool $1 million spent within the Bagatelle Forces area. This is significant, people.
Over $365,000 went to Bagatelle Fonsession Village Council last week for road construction.
That's news. Your sport highlights next with Kenny Williams.
Cricket takes the first knock because Guyana Jaguars won the WICB PCL Regional 4-Day Tournament with a game in hand when they defeated Windward's Volcanoes by an innings and 122 runs recently. Jaguars won the first-class trophy for the 3rd consecutive year. Highlights from that encounter: Volcanoes 95 all-out batting first, with the highest-scoring batsman for them in that match being Sonal Ambrose 29. Kimo Paul snatched 6 for 28. In reply, Guyana scored 379 all-out with 125 from Asad Fuddadin, Delron Johnson 5 for 46 and Kyle Mayers 4 for 89. In the second innings, Volcanoes were bowled out for 162 with 61 off the bat of Devon Smith and Shane Shillingford 35 not out. Meantime, Leeward Islands Hurricanes captain Kieran Powell is set to make a return to his first test in nearly 3 years after being recalled to the West Indies squad for the first match against Pakistan on Friday. Vishal Singh and Shimron Hetmeyer have also joined Powell in the 13-man squad after they made runs in a recent warm-up game against Pakistan, which ended in a draw. Marlon Samuels, Darren Bravo and Leon Johnson were dropped from the squad that toured the UAE for 3 tests against Pakistan in October. Powell finished as the leading scorer in the Regional Super 50 competition in February with 513 runs in 8 innings at 64.12. The full squad reads Jason Holder, captain, Devendra Bishu, Jermaine Blackwood, Craig Brathwaite, Roston Chase, Miguel Cummins, Shane Dorwich, Shannon Gabriel, Shimron Hetmeyer, Shai Hope, Alzari Joseph, Kieran Powell and Vishal Singh. Carlos Brathwaite and Jomel Warrican have also been left out of the squad. On to track and field, where Dominica won its first gold medal, which was the only one coming out of the 2017 Carifta Games in Curacao on the weekend. Keon Burton made history for Dominica in the under-20 boys javelin in a throw of 62.14 meters. He topped Calvin Marcus of Barbados, who threw 60.40 for second, and Kevin Nedrick out of Jamaica 58.33 to get bronze. Meantime, Keva Pierre ran a qualifying time of 2 minutes 25 seconds in the 800-meter race, but finished 7th overall in the final with a time of 2 minutes 26 seconds. Former Carifta medalist and sportswoman of 2015-2016, Shani Angol, finished 7th in the under-20 javelin in a distance of 42.04 meters. On to local cricket, where there were wins for Marino Blasters and Police Sports Club in recent action from the national leagues of the Dominica Cricket Association. In the Nagico Northern Stars versus Marino Blasters encounter, we had Nagico being bowled out for 91, with their top scoring batsmen being Campton Bernards 29 and Glenn Joseph 23 not out. Anderson Burton picked up 4 for 11 and Mario Lucian 2 for 24. Set 92 for victory, Marino scored 93 for 1. Anderson Burton added 38 not out and Wayne Augustine 34 not out to help Marino take a 9-wicket victory. Anderson Burton was man of the match. Meantime, in the Starlights versus Police game, Police batted first and reached 210 in 40 overs. Daryl Damier 55 and Kieran James 47. Starlights in reply was bowled out for 183 in 39.2 overs. Sylvester Mark chipped in with 58 and Richard Anselm contributed 37. Bowling for Police, we had Caleb Challenger with 4 for 28 and Daryl Damier 3 for 26. Police won by 27 runs, with Daryl Damier being player of the match. Meantime, the Dominica Cricket Association has announced a 30-man trial squad to the national men's cricket team who will take part in the Windward Islands cricket competition in May. The squad reads Liam Sebastian, Jelani Robinson, Tyrone Theophil, Kevin James, Mervyn Matthew, Lex Maglaw, Courtney Ansem, Alec Athanas, Kashasky John Luis, Joshua Challenger, Dylan Tyson, Vincent Luis, Sherlon George, Sherwin Fabian, Gian Benjamin, Kasim Peltier, Tash Tavernier, Daniel Dupini, Kemba Charles, Damian Thomas, Emmanuel Peter, Dion Burton, Jason Lamoth, Alvinson Jolly, Casimus Benjamin, Jassian Alexander, Lee Louisi, Shervon Dorset, Brian Joseph, Kevin Hodge, and Sherwin Labassiere. These players are expected to meet with Coach Mervyn Thomas on Wednesday afternoon at Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Dominica will host the 2017 Windward Islands Cricket Competition. Sports continues with netball, where Dominica rose above adversity to be victorious in an interesting turn of events in a recent game played in an under-16 Goodwill Series in St. Lucia. Reports indicate that the Dominican team was allegedly robbed by a gunman shortly after arriving in St. Lucia on Friday. The incident occurred just after they had dinner at KFC and were returning to a guest house. Team manager Fiona Vidal said she was asked by the gunman to give up the money, which she did. Over $10,000 in cash, as well as travel documents for all team members and personal items, were given up. Despite the disappointment, the Dominican squad went on to defeat the St. Lucian team. Meantime, in a more recent match, Dominica's under-16 beat SJC Egrets 55-14. Scoring for Dominica, we had Selena Langley 51 from 59 and Etheline Telemark 4 from 6. For Egrets, Brittany Desir 9 from 20 and Melika Dayton 5 from 11. And Dominica placed third in the Winlot Inc. WICB Under-15 cricket tournament in Grenada. In their most recent match, Dominica went down to Grenada by 9 runs. Grenada took first knock and made 204 for 6 from 50 overs. Teddy Bishop 51 and Dean Roy Phillip 36. Savio Ansem picked up 3 for 47 and Tyrese LeBlanc 1 for 26. In reply, Dominica reached 195 for 9 in 50 overs. Michael Revere 44, Jeremiah Joseph 34 and Majid Peltier 32. Kerwin Gangadine took 4 for 35 and Neil Roy Stefan 3 for 40. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us next time.
We check in now with the Met Office, for the latest weather update.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I am your presenter, Annie Carreta-Joseph. We begin this evening by taking a look at earlier satellite imagery, which showed this area of cloudiness affecting the Caribbean region, and this was as a result of a southwards dipping frontal boundary. Visible satellite imagery showed multi-layered clouds over Dominica during the course of the afternoon, and this resulted in mostly cloudy to overcast skies. Radar imagery indicated the associated rainfall activity located over the Lesser Antilles. Conditions for tonight: mostly cloudy skies with some scattered showers, and this weather conditions is expected to continue into tomorrow. Persons in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and fallen rocks, you are advised to exercise some caution. Sea conditions: moderate to rough in open water, with waves expected to pick up to 12 feet. A high surf advisory and a small craft warning for above normal northerly swells can be expected to affect the area. Therefore, small craft operators and sea bathers, you are advised to exercise caution. Taking a look at conditions for the remainder of the week. Again, tomorrow Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies with some scattered showers. On Thursday and Friday, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers. Across the region tomorrow, the extreme northern portion will experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some showers, and the central and southern portions will experience mostly cloudy skies with some scattered showers. On the international scene, cloudy skies expected in New York and Beijing, some rain in Miami, partly cloudy skies in London, and some thunderstorm activity in Caracas. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:48 a.m. and set at 6:21 p.m. For up-to-date information, log on to our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and join us next time. Good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. Family of murder victim Joshua Etienne says the justice system is failing them as murder charges against another officer are dismissed. Employers Federation wants more focus on economic prospects of Sunday as a legal working day, and another union leader publicly supports the elusive Trade Union Congress. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can access the news on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Idona John Baptist, and to our viewers around the world, thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.